Welcome to Down to Earth Astrology and Primal Girl Wellness. This is Miss Jenny, and I am your astrologer. Today's date is June 27th, 2022. It is 2 a.m., and I'm not sleeping. And don't see myself sleeping for a while. Anyway, so Roe versus Wade has been overturned by our religious zealot majority on the Supreme Court. And we've been there, many of us have been talking about this for a long time, and I've been calling this since Trump was elected in office and was doing his grandstanding at his acceptance speech. It was just something was off. Something was really off. And for those of you who are not old enough to remember, I will say it again. This started. This strategy officially started in the 1980s with the Mies Commission and the war on pornography and the moral majority. If you're not familiar with those things, you really want to go back and research them, because the people who were on the Mies Commission, who were part of the moral majority, who started the war on pornography, yes, there was an actual war on pornography involving your tax dollars, and we paid for people, the Mies Commission, to sit and watch hours and hours and hours of pornography to determine that it was, in fact, very bad. Yes, our tax dollars paid for the Mies Commission to watch hours of pornography to determine that pornography was bad, so they could support and justify their attempt to remove all obscene materials, not just pornography, but all obscene materials from any distribution in the United States. There's a case with Larry Flint and going to the Supreme Court about this for obscenity charges. That was part of that. Robert Mapplethorpe, the artist, was also one of the major lawsuits went up to the Supreme Court about obscenity charges. It's a very important thing to understand, because one of the things that happened is they realized that you can't fight the government. You have to, rather than fighting your senators, you have to buy them. So they have infiltrated all the key positions in the government, and it was most obvious with the Trump administration and the people he selected to put in the different offices. If you missed it, I think her name is Paula White, was the religious advisor for the White House during his time there. Look her up. That'll tell you a lot about who was driving this train, and it wasn't him. So, I mean, he was there for personal gain and profit, but there were a whole lot of other people using him as the front man for the band, like David Lee Roth was for Van Halen, so that they could get their work done behind him. In any event, we're here now. We're here. Tried to warn you, but nobody listens, because, we'd rather watch reality TV and the Kardashians, the Real Housewives of who knows what, than pay attention to what lawmakers are making laws about and who we're electing in the offices with all their hateful rhetoric. So I won't bore you with that, because it doesn't matter. We're here now. We've got one election coming up in November, and I am well past the age that I have to worry about accidental or unwanted pregnancies or difficult or life-threatening pregnancies. I don't have that to worry about, but you guys do. And if you don't make it out to the polls in force enough, because you just refuse to pull your head out of your fantasy land sand, and pay attention, well, this is the world you're giving yourself. Just saying. So I have been more than a little upset about this decision, but I have absolute faith and confidence. This is part of an evolutionary process, and this has literally been a 20, 30-year war on women, because the goddess is rising, and like animals, they instinctively sense that change is coming and there's no avoiding it. So they're all panicking like animals and fighting to grasp the last bits of control and power they can get before they lose it all. They know they're going to lose it all because it's time for change. So this month's horoscope will be in a hyperlink in the description box below. It will be coming from the year 2022 ahead report that I did in January. All the things I said in July will still be true. I'm going to give you some hot dates for July to watch. In particular, I want you guys to mark your calendars and be very, very aware of your surroundings and who you're dealing with around the quarter moon on the 20th. That whole week especially after the 20th, because Venus will have just moved into Cancer, Mercury will be in Leo, Jupiter will be making its station retrograde this month. So that particular time period around the quarter moon on the 20th, at 27 Aries, 28 Aries quarter moon, is it's not going to be okay. It's not going to be safe. It's not going to be easy, and it will literally or figuratively put the final nail in the coffin for something. So, and it could be a symbolic nail in the coffin for, people's hopes for something. I don't know. I'm not here to be a naysayer and doomsdayer, because I have confidence we're heading in the right direction, and this is all part of the process. Because apparently, a whole bunch of people, like, they need things to get worse and worse and worse before they'll finally stop fighting the obvious and fact and get with the program. I'm just saying. So watch that date. Look for the link below for the July horoscope. And I just want to give you guys one final thing, because this has been on my mind too. So if you're in the United States and you're following astrology and you follow mundane astrology, you will have heard a lot of noise about the United States Pluto return. So the thing about it is we don't know what to expect. Pluto makes its transit, or returns to its I can't even talk, original position like once every 98 years, every 100 years. It's like a long cycle. You literally have to, like, we don't know that many people have lived long enough to see Pluto returns. And as a nation, mundane astrology is still new, right? So we don't really have a lot of experience with this. We can look back at history and see what happened with other civilizations, but we don't know. But what we do know is the United States is, as we speak and living it, going through a Pluto return. Now, there are astrologers, particularly middle-aged ones. I don't know what that's about the 50 and over crowd. Like, they're all worse than the kids. It's nihilistic doomsday prophesying. And it's the literally, to listen to them talk, like, one, you're going to want to go kill yourself, like, immediately, because there's no hope for the future. The end is nigh. But seriously. But the other thing is that there's a lot of discussion about the collapse of civilization and the collapse of the economy and the collapse of this and the collapse of that. And here's the thing. Like, we know Pluto transits are terrifically awful. Like, if you've ever survived a Pluto transit, it will rip everything near and dear to you that you relied upon for stability and, like, a touchstone for reality, right? All the things that you thought you needed, it's going to take away from you and force you to deal with what the absolute essentials are that are available to you. I took a Pluto transit to my fourth house and my ascendant, and I lost my father, which, in the circumstances I was in, was hugely life-changing. And he was literally my source of stability, and he was my touchstone for reality. So when he was removed, I literally felt like a hermit crab without a shell. It was bad. It was really bad. I survived it. Obviously, I'm here, and I am a stronger person as a result of everything that went with that, but I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So it's the same thing with Pluto in the United States chart. We've got a Pluto return, which is a little different from the transit I had. I had a Pluto square, but it's still a Pluto return. Now, the thing to understand is that with a Pluto return, it's a Pluto conjunction. Pluto has come back to its original position. In theory, this means we're given the opportunity for radical, deep transformation, deep, important evolutionary transformation, not throwback evolutionary, like being dragged back to the dark ages and caves, but real progress-focused evolutionary change, transformation. We have that available to us. But in order to get there, we have to weed out the rot. One of the things that Pluto does, among the many things that Pluto does, is it exposes and unearths things that we thought nobody was ever going to know about. So things that are buried deep, 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 deep below visibility and consciousness. Those are the things that come up. So where Uranus is like a lightning that illuminates the playing field, like quickly, abruptly, without warning, and suddenly, blang, you can see everything, right? Pluto is more like an archaeological dig. Pluto will not expose what's on the surface. Pluto, like an archaeological dig, will pull crap up from so deep down under the earth you literally thought nobody was ever going to find this. And lo and behold, now we've got clues in DNA to show that this body that just showed up after the lake bed dried, right, is the remains of a 20-year-old murder that was never solved. Jimmy Hoffa being found turns up under Pluto returns sort of thing. So what that means also too is that the rots, the corruption, right? These things can't be hidden either. And we're seeing it. We are seeing it. Like we're seeing the rot where it is to the core. Okay? And the most important thing with Pluto is Pluto doesn't care about your sacred cows. So everybody's got a sacred cow, that thing that thou shalt not attack. You cannot question it. You cannot challenge it. You shall not attack it. Religious people have more sacred cows than the rest of us, for sure. But everybody's got that thing, that line you don't cross in terms of our personal beliefs, right? Well, Pluto doesn't give a damn about your sacred cows. So whatever it is that you thought was a sacred cow in your life that was just sacrosanct, inviolate, there was no way anybody could challenge it. This was above and beyond everything. When Pluto does what Pluto does, it won't be anymore. So the United States, all the things that the United States is built on that were considered sacred cows in terms of how society was structured, how our governments and corporations are structured, how the power structures were structured, all those sacred cows are going to get ripped, like literally hide and hair apart until there's like nothing left but ashes and rubble, and we're going to have to rebuild from that. Now, does this mean that the economy is going to collapse? We're going to end up in a giant depression and people are going to be throwing themselves off skyscrapers? No, no. Maybe. I mean, we do have a bunch of eclipses in Scorpio and Taurus. More than that, what I would tell you is that we are in the process, and I've said this before, we're on the precipice of great change. So, with our voluntary participation and our committed effort to turn this ship in the direction it needs to go in so that we all survive, you know, not blowing the earth up because the 144,000 delusional ones thought they were going to inherit something when the earth blew up, right? Ooh-wee. When we all participate and we all get involved and we all together work on righting the ship and moving it in the right direction, the transformation will be an amazing and beautiful thing to behold. And all the struggle that we're in, and all the pain and heartache and things that we're dealing with will reveal themselves as how they were needed to create circumstances that allow us to grow and become stronger and move in the directions we need to become more authentic. Or we can destroy ourselves. Now, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. You have to believe that. But you also have to believe that Pluto doesn't give you anything. Pluto is not that kind of parent. Pluto says if you want it, you got to come and get it. You've got to do the work. It's right here. I'll maybe compromise with you and let have some of this back, but you only get parts of it. So figure out which parts are really important to you, because those are things I'll give you, but only if you earn the right to have them back. Remember, Pluto was the god of the underworld that kidnapped Persephone and never actually gave Persephone back, made a compromise. You know, if Persephone is important to you, like what terms and conditions is she most important to you? Because you won't get her back wholesale. You'll get her back with compromise. So it's all about separating the wheat from the chaff, you know, and getting down to essentials, right? Remember the thing about the motorcycle. Don't worry about what's around you. Like, be aware of the problems, but keep your eyes on the direction you're trying to go. So we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. But man, we're going to go through some radical transformation in the process. This month, Jupiter is stationing retrograde in Aries. And if I didn't mention it earlier, I'll mention it now. When Jupiter stations retrograde, it will, especially in Aries, hopefully it will it will get people to calm their tits, as the British like to say, and stop being so overbearingly obnoxious, you know, chest beating, right? And childish, just freaking infantile and childish, which translates into selfish, right? So we've got that coming. We've got some stuff ahead. Like, we're not even close to out of the woods. But July, man. follow the link and go to the July horoscope um, that was done in January, and it'll cover everything. Like I said, the big hotspot this month is going to be the 20th with a quarter moon, um, and possibly the 13th on the full moon. But the 13th, I'm not worried about as much. Um, Mostly because Venus will still be in Gemini, Mars will be in Taurus. Yeah, it's a lot of noise, but I'm not really. Mm, yeah, it's a lot of noise, but I'm not really seeing anything huge with that. Um, and that's it. That's all I've got. I'm sorry this is not a normal, proper, predictive horoscope for July, but I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I'm. Oh my God. I am a woman who cares about other women and certainly cares about children and the future generations. I mean, if you have to care about something, that's probably a good thing to care about. And this has just got me just bowled over because I remember the Mies Commission. I remember the moral majority. I remember the war on pornography and what is it? The fight with Larry Flint and Hustler, as well as the artist Robert Mapplethorpe. I remember these things. And now these bastards have gotten even sneakier and they've found a better strategy. They're not better people. And Pluto is making sure that we're seeing it. We are seeing archaeological digs, things they thought nobody was ever going to know. Oh, and it's just getting started. It will get better. And again, Pluto is literally upending everything you thought you could count on and believe in. All your sacred cows getting slaughtered right in front of you. And Pluto will let you have the things that you need. It's a Pluto return in the US. Pluto will let you have the things that you need, but you have to decide which parts of these you actually need because he won't give it all back to you. You'll get parts of it back. That's the compromise. And even then, you're going to have to work for it. So, don't buy into the, doomsday prophecies. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. The goddess is rising. She has risen. And that is why these people are panicking. They know the end is here. This is the end. So this is literally the last chance push through the stall before that gate closes and they can never go through there again. So, but it's not over. It's not over. So, we're all not okay. We're all not okay. We're literally being hijacked by religious zealots. And we're being led by a man who's literally covering for his son, his useless, no good son. Sorry, we're going to do a video about that later after we get past the elections. Jesus. Um, Anyway, please be well. Take a deep breath. Hang in there for me. Remember to meditate. For the love of God, whatever you do, remember to meditate. There is so much aggressive, hostile, violent energy floating around. Like everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. Even people who are not normally violent or aggressive are having moments where like, I'm gonna rip you limb from limb. And these are not normal thoughts for them. So, it's there. And remember, the demons are at play right now. The demons are absolutely at play. And what do demons thrive on? They thrive on suffering and chaos and misery. So if you're dealing with people or groups of people or communities or anyone, any entity who is sowing the seeds of chaos, misery, suffering, right? And we're watching them try to plant those seeds now. These are demons at work. That's what demons thrive in. So don't let them get in your head because they'll get in your head too and have you start doing the whole crazy train thing where you're like, trying to go out and commit acts of chaos and destruction and all sorts of stuff. It's not easy, but we can do it. So get through July as best you can. Go in the description box and watch. I'll put the time marker in there. Watch the July horoscope that we did for January. It still stands. Everything I said still stands. And mark your calendars again for that quarter moon on the 20th. And please be careful. Please be careful. I'll put more stuff up as it comes up, but right now I'm cooked. I'm cooked. So, see you guys soon.